You know.
Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown. Would you like the first question, Dr. Brown? Bob?
Oh, that's me. I thought that was Greg. Um, um, Chris Carson, Shaquille, those guys come back today. How did they look? Or
They did get out there today, yeah, and got to work. You know, they were doing all the regular practice stuff today, so it's good sign.
and in general, I guess this practice, what does this sort of do? I mean, you get back after 4 days and all that.
Yeah, we refer to it as a bonus day just to kind of get back rolling, and we practice against ourselves a lot just to get ready so that we're prepared for a really good Wednesday. And this is kind of the day that leads in out of the break and into the week.
Jackie?
Hey, Pete, a couple questions for you. First off, what can this long week do for you guys in terms of injuries and getting guys healthy?
Well, we're really, Jackie, we're trying to take advantage of every day that the guys get another break to return. Everybody's banged up this time of year, so these days are really important, and the guys will feel better. They bounced around pretty good today. We'll get another day off for Thanksgiving here too, so we should be in pretty good shape for this weekend.
And then looking ahead to the Eagles, what have you seen from Carson Wentz and his performance this season?
Well, as always, he's tough. He makes big plays. He's got the big throws or the big runs in him. They haven't had the success that they want to have, but they're leading their division, and they know they're battling for that. And he's their leader and he's their guy. So he's a big stud quarterback. It's hard to get on the ground. He's a lot like the guy from Buffalo, and he makes things happen. So he's tough to deal with.
Joe?
Pete, did Daryl practice today like you were hoping?
Not yet.
And then is there still hope that he'll practice this week?
You know me. I'm always hoping. We'll see. There's a report coming in today from the docs that we're waiting on.
And then with Greg Olson's injury, does that open the door? I mean, I think it makes sense that Coley would be active, but is there a chance that he could play a bit and get a few snaps?
Yeah, Colby's going right into the rotation. We're going to just throw him in there, and to make sure that we're playing. Everybody's fresh and all of that. He's going to just play. So I'm not going to hesitate there.
How has he looked in practice to you?
He's had a really good return. He had to hang around for so long. He did learn all this stuff. He's a bright kid and picked it up and has executed well, understanding the techniques and the principles. He's got to knock the rust off. These practices are good and valuable, but it's not the same as a game. So the game speed is going to be the first time for him. But we're just going to make him play, and so we can keep our rotations alive. We're going to miss Greg tremendously, and you can't replace that experience and that wherewithal and all. But Colby is, he's going to come in here and just do the best he can and see if he can help us.
Corbin?
Hey, Pete, it seems like since Mike Iupati came back from his back injury that he's really been a catalyst for this offense, being able to run the football well, especially the last game. How important is it getting a player like him back in the lineup, and what have you seen from him since he returned from injury?
When you return a guy that has this much experience and background and all that, and his poise and all, it just helps everybody. It helps the guys around him, and Mikey's a real good football player. He's tough as can be. He had to fight his way back to it, but we're really happy to have him back. It just helps the communication. He came in there last week without Posick, so he had to help Damien and through it, and as Jamarco was trying to do the same. He just returns us back to a good mentality, good communications. We take a step forward when he gets back in there.
Thanks.
Curtis?
Yeah, Pete, what more have you learned about Greg Olson's injury and the timeline that could be since the weekend here, and how that is for him?
Yeah, we're going to kind of shoot for 4 to 6 weeks, maybe on the early end of that, and see what happens. Like I told you, he'd been through this before. He knows what he's into and all that, so he'll know the most as he gets going. He's still pretty sore though right now.
And over the last couple of weeks, what have you seen out of the pass rush just kind of jumping up to where you have 13 sacks? And I know Carlos has come in and been part of that, but what beyond that has kind of been something to get you guys started in that front?
Yeah, well, let me state the obvious. The obvious is that he has had an impact. He knocks the pile back, knocks the tackle back into the quarterback, and just creates some lanes for other guys. So he's contributing to other guys' rush as well. We've just taken a step forward with the way we're doing things, and it's helped our guys. Getting Jamal back out there too is a factor, and so we're going to try to keep growing there. And Benson had his first time back in a month, so he was very limited in the game numbers wise. So we're looking forward to those guys all coming together and making sure that we can keep the heat going without having to pressure all the time, but we still like pressuring and getting after it.
AJ?
AJ?
Hey, Coach. Sorry, it took me a minute to find the unmute button. So, obviously, you guys have a massive break here between games. It's almost like a little mini bye week. In that time, I'm assuming it gives you a little bit more time to look at film. What are some of the things that you saw on Thursday, now that you've gone back and looked at the film, that you really like, that sort of felt like the aha moment, maybe, with like this defense of like what they are capable of?
Well, first off, I really like your way of looking at it as a massive break. That's really maximizing the couple days. So that's a good outlook. I haven't called it that. I would refer to it more of a kind of a mini break. But now that you've brought it up, I'm going with that. It's a massive break, massive effect.
In the middle of the season.
I got you. These last 6 quarters that we've played have been different, and the guys have really taken a step forward in owning what they're doing, and the communications and the adjustments and utilizing the package and disguising really well and really feeling comfortable with it. And it's just taken us quite a while to get the continuity so we could talk like that. And we'll see what happens when we go to Philly. We got to play another tough offense, and they do all kinds of stuff. They're a big running team, and they're really good at it, and we have to take care of business there. But I'm hoping that we take a real good step this week too. A couple extra outings here in practice, getting ready. We'll just continue to own what we're doing, and I think that may be the biggest statement, and it's more the playing together thing and everybody understanding one another and communicating and maximizing what the scheme is all about. Hopefully, we can continue to do that.
Tim?
2 things, Pete. Did Ethan Posick get back out today?
He did.
And then now that he's got, 5-6 games now going, how have you felt about Jordan Brooks' development and what you've seen of him?
No, he's a really good ball player. He's helping us. The running and hitting part is really what he specializes in. He's a terrific athlete and very explosive. As he continues to learn and just get more accurate, more in command of what he's doing, he's just going to be really, really good. There's nothing to keep him from there. He's instinctive, smart, tough. He's kind of got a real quiet toughness about him, and he's doing a really good job of, being the first pick and being humble and just working hard. So I'm really, really thrilled about that pick and what he contributes to this team.
How does playing Will sort of amplify or highlight those skills that you just pointed out that stand out?
In some of the scheme, it doesn't matter. Michael Will, if they're behind the line of scrimmage, is very similar. He and Bobby have really similar traits. They both run real fast. They both tackle hard, tackle well, cover a ton of ground. It really feels secure having those two guys behind the line of scrimmage and in all situations, run and pass. And so and we're just getting started with pressure. And Bobby's an active part of it, but we're just starting with Jordan. So. I just feel like we got the right guy for our system and all that. And so he fits the Will position really well.
Thanks.
Art?
Pete, now that you've had 10 games home and away to look at it, how do you assess the impact of the absence of fans on the ability to maintain concentration and intensity? We know it's different, but is it worse?
I don't think it is. I honestly don't think it's just not quite as much fun. The fans and the excitement and all of that. I mean, playing here is such a thrill, and our guys are missing out on what that part of it is about. But there's a very serious mentality that goes on here in these stadiums, and there's almost a purity to it, that without the fans that draws focus, I think, and I don't think it goes the other way around. The fans may be more of a distraction than anything, because they're just such a big part of the game. It's a good part, but this is different, and it's interesting to go from home and away, and to see how it doesn't change as much. It used to be such a bigger factor when you're on the road. Of course, think of the teams coming in here, how thrilled they are to be playing here now, so. it's much more similar than anything else, home and away, and so we have to generate our own juice. You know, we have to make sure that we're feeding the energy, and so that's a big part of our conversation before the game, build up to the game, during the game, halftime, the whole time, and our sidelines are crucially important as you close out games.
Question for Pete Brady.
You can ask Dave. You can ask Dave one too if you like.
I'll just stick with a question for you. What do you know about the time that Russell and DK spent together this offseason, the work they did, and how much do you think that was a bonding thing as much as it was a training sessions?
Yeah, I had the good fortune of seeing a lot of those workouts because they would video them and send them, and so I watched those guys work out a lot, and saw the duration of time they spent out there. You know, the actual workout. Both these guys are workers, so they're not going to back off, and so they got a lot of work on the field done. But that I would think that it's all of the conversation in and around, in between, and afterward, and all that really was the great benefit. You know, that's just how you build the relationship. You know, it's just like any relationship. You know, the more you communicate, the more time you can spend together, the more you get to know the person, and that's what we're benefiting from. And it's really, it just feels like it's just getting started.
And why do you think those two players in particular have clicked so well, just off the field, personality-wise, as they have?
They share a common drive, you know, and a mentality that neither one of them are going to back off, you know. And I'm sure that there's a lot of conversations going on between them, you know, about pushing each other and all that kind of stuff during the time they're working out. But they're both just so driven that, and they share that, and they know that the other one's like that. So they're benefiting from each other as they work together.
Thanks.
Greg?
Pete, has the NFL even enhanced the COVID policies again? And if so, what did they change?
Yeah, they have. Starting, I guess, Saturday, I think it was, after our game, they just took another step forward as they continue to understand more what's going on in the facilities and how everybody's operating. They find ways to try to enhance this the whole operation wherever they can, so that what they do is they give us opportunities to continue to stress the important stuff, by